Well, I'm back after some time with the MeshForce Wi-Fi home mesh system, and I'm going to go through my review of this system as a whole. Hey folks, welcome back to techgooch. And so, a little while back, I did a setup on the MeshForce M3 system, or M3S system, on my GeekSmart channel. And typically I like to use a router for at least 2 weeks to really let it set in, sometimes 3-4 weeks. It's been closer to the latter. And that's because I had a little issue at the beginning. And I wanted to do, they had a firmware update, and I wanted to make sure to see if that fixed it or whatever. But this is my unaltered review of this product. Now, I was sent this. This is something that I was sent, like a lot of products I get sent, but I don't treat things that are sent to me like they were sent to me. I treat them like I purchased them. So, based on the price, this you can buy on Amazon for $179 as a 3-piece set. Right now they have a $20 coupon, so call it $159 if you were to buy it today, if you bought it through Amazon. And I'm going to put links down below if you're interested in this. At that price, I'm very impressed. If I'm going to compare it to some of the other systems out there that are closer to that $300 price mark, some even closer to the $400 price mark, there's some things about this system that I've had a little bit of issues with. It is a 3-piece system. It does good coverage on the house. It is a mesh-based system where you kind of get handed off from point to point. There's an app that you can actually track the system not only here, but you can actually track it from anywhere that you are to see if your internet's online. There is a couple nice features, like I can actually put this on a maintenance schedule. So, you know, at every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, restart the system at 3 a.m. I can do that with the system. I really appreciate that. However, usually when you put something like that in the back end, hopefully it's done with good intentions. Hopefully it's not done because it's, well, the system kind of needs restarting every couple of days. Hopefully they'll throw the maintenance schedule on there. I've kind of been in that in-between mark, to be honest, with what it is. Like I said, at the price that it's at, actually it's a pretty solid system. It's similar to like the Eros, where each of these nodes have a couple wired ports. If you watch the setup video, they can be set up wirelessly for the second nodes, the non-primary one. Obviously the primary one is going to have to actually plug into your router, or I'm sorry, into your modem, or wherever you're bringing your internet in from. This is a router. This is not going to give you internet access. It's just going to provide a wireless way to access your internet that you've already been providing to it. I get that question, I think, more frequently than I expect. So, this is going to offer wired and wireless connections to your various products. So, the primary node, which you're going to plug into your modem or your internet connection in general, you can go wireless to the other two, or you can wire them. So, there is a wire backbone that you can actually do, so the back end can be wired. There are 2 ports on each of these, on all 3 of them. So if you were to say, in the setup that I did 1 wireless and 1 wired. If you did the wired one, you're going to use one of those, obviously, for the wired backhaul to the primary. And then you'll have a second that you can actually wire to whatever device you're going to use if you want to use a wired connection. Or you can go to a switch and then have a whole bunch plugged into it. Wirelessly, then you'll just have 2 nodes, or 2 wired ports on the back of it that can actually be used for whatever devices you want to connect. So in my house, how I have it set up, I have my primary one here, actually in the room next door to me. That's kind of my internet haven, where everything comes in. It goes to this, the internet comes in on my cable modem, transfers to this bad boy. This guy goes to a big switch that I now have. And then from that switch, it goes to everything that's wired in my entire house, including the other 2 nodes. During setup, I did 1 as wireless. However, the nice thing, even if you set it up wirelessly, as soon as you plug that in and it finds a wired backhaul to the primary router, it's going to use the wired. So it is a smart system in that regard. There's a lot of benefits to having a wired backhaul capability. From what I understand, even like the new Google Nest ones, you can't do a wired backhaul. I think it's a joke if you can't do it wired. If it's built into the system, it should be built in, right? So it can do wireless and wired backhaul from the secondaries to the primary. That's a big plus in my book, because typically you have less problems with wired devices than you do with wireless devices. That brings us into the point of where I was having issues and where I actually continue to have on occasion wireless issues. There's two issues that I've had with this system, which are issues that I've had with a lot of systems. It's not just this guy. Similar to when I use the Netgear stuff, whether it's the Orbi system or their X8 system or their X6, I think is the one I did. Either way, I'd have issues with like the dropping of the Wi-Fi, and that is something that's different on this than I had on the other systems. This one, my device would still show great connection to the node, but my internet was just not working. Like on my phone or my tablet, it was just, what is going on? I'd disconnect and reconnect, and then she'd take off. I've not had any issues with any of the wired devices. They have all ran great. Very few issues with kind of the static wired devices that don't pop from node to node, right? So like my Apple TV, for instance, I have one of my Apple TVs wirelessly connected, one of them wired. Yeah, the wireless ones, I really haven't had any issues with the ones that are jumping between nodes. It's typically the ones, and I'm wondering if it's not handing it off, even though it's showing the connection to the next one. Like my bars go up, but I'm not getting internet until I disconnect and reconnect. That, it has happened with a lot of mesh systems that I've used before, so it's not like the end-all be-all of things. However, and I'll show you in the app here, I've named my nodes so I know exactly where they're at. I had one node that has disconnected from the system as a whole multiple times, probably 3 or 4 times in total now, and does not automatically reconnect without me unplugging and plugging it back in. Although on the node itself, it shows that it's connected. It's really goofy. And I can show you, I guess I didn't take any video on the app, but on the app it'll show you which nodes are green, basically showing they're connected. I'd pull up on the, I'd having internet issues in one portion of my house. I pull it up and it's showing that node offline. Okay, then you go upstairs, I take a peek at the node upstairs, and she's showing green. She's showing that everything's good, and then you unplug it, you plug it back in, basically just do a power cycle, and she comes right back up. It's goofy. I don't understand why it's happening. The only thing that I could do on top of that would be actually, I think, tear the system down, reformat it back to factory defaults, and bring it back up. See if that does it. I really don't want to do that. It shouldn't do that no matter what. But I've done about everything else. So that is something I will. I guess I made a small video on that. So one of the issues I'm having now, even though this one says it actually is connected, as the green light indicates, it's not. The app cannot find it. It says it's not connected. So, and this has happened a couple times, I will restart this one, and we'll see. Maybe in a few days it won't do it, but it's been a little bit more tedious. So I think maybe next time I'll actually do a full reformat of it and reset it up. But that is one issue I have been having, even though this says it's connected, it actually isn't. So this is the setup. This is one of the MeshForce systems. They are extremely lightweight boxes. And on the back side, maybe I can go around the back side of my thing here so you can see the connections here, right? We have our power, we have our wide area network, our WAN port, and then our LAN connection port. So you can see the world logo and the LAN logo. Now they are not using USB power. They're actually using, just the circular DC connection spot there, and it uses just a standard white brick. So in that regard, it's a little bit disconcerting. I'd rather have something maybe a little bit different. USB-C power I think is fantastic. I wish more things would use it, but that's how I have it plugged. So, and then my LAN connection goes from there down to my large switch, which this is a mess right now. I mean, since I have my new rack and my new switch, I'm working on getting everything looking better, so don't grade me on how horrid this looks right now. This is getting fixed as soon as I get time. That's it. that is what she looks like, and they are very lightweight. Alright, so here's my phone itself on the page. My Mesh app is the app that we actually use to access the MeshForce. Once we click and open that app, now I've already done the setup on this one, so again, if you want to see the setup video, head over to Geeksmart. I'll have a link down below for that. But this is what the app looks like. My system is called Schuster, that's my last name. So we have megabits up, megabits down, so nothing really that's taxing the system right now. Basement, which is my main one, that's actually the primary one, which probably is why it's at the top of the triangle. And then we have living room and piano. Those are two locations that I have set upstairs that I have nodes at. Both of them are wired. You can actually easily see that if I actually click on the node itself. Excellent condition, but it's actually you see how there's the two lines, the dot, basically like a LAN connection. That's showing that it actually is a wired connection. If it was wireless, it would have the standard wireless, and then tell you the signal strength of that. We have 34 connected devices. There we go. See, something's using the internet. We can actually go to those connected devices. It'll actually tell you the name. You can actually go in and rename these if you'd like. So, like if you see something that, whatever, Brian's iPhone, you can change that to whatever you want it to be. My Q, I could just say garage door or whatever. But all these, you can go through all your devices and see how the connection is. You can even see stuff that's currently offline. So these items here are currently offline. And you can actually see when that offline actually occurred. So if you're having an issue, you can actually come down here to the offline devices that were recently connected and find out when did it actually go down. So it's handy. You can also pause internet or change stuff within those devices itself. In the settings, we can actually change the wireless settings, guest network settings. Right now I do not have the guest network turned on, but you can turn that on here. Change your wireless settings. You're going to change your password and stuff like that if you'd like. Parental controls, things that if you're into changing how they can access, when they can access, things like that, you can actually add a group. So, for my daughters or whatever, I could actually add a group and say, yep, after this time it cuts off the internet connection, things like that. Internet settings, DHCP, stuff like that, if you want to change those connection types. Quality of service, if you want to go into those, you can turn that on. I do not have that on currently. You can add another mesh. So right now I have 2 mesh pieces added to my primary. If I was to buy another one, I can add more. Fast roaming. This one allows it to quickly hand over from one node to the next. I have that turned on. That initially was not turned on. So it may have been some of the earlier issues I was having. I haven't noticed those as much since I've turned that on, so that's nice, I think. Capacity-oriented mode. Let's see, went over 30 clients. I probably should do that because I have 34, but I actually have never done that, to be honest. Most of my 34 connection devices are not grabbing a ton of internet, so I didn't see that as a necessity myself. Smart Assistant. Let's see, convert your 2.4 gigahertz network for 30 minutes to help you discover and install smart devices. Just helps you, makes it faster to connect smart devices if you'd like to use that. Port forwarding, if there's specific ports that you want to actually forward. Right now I actually have my TrendNet NVR that I'm testing forwarded so I can actually access it outside of my network. Universal plug and play, you can turn that on or off. You can see that as necessary. DHCP server, you can connect or configure the IP address you want for that. Let's see, DNS, you can actually change. So I actually went from my default to a primary DNS server, see if that would actually help with any speed issues, things like that. You can change that within here like you can on any, to be honest. Firmware upgrade, if you need upgrade firmware, I can actually check. So if we hit detect latest, this is the latest firmware. I did do an update on that once already. Maintenance scheduler, this is where you can actually say, you know what, on these specific dates, which of our, so we actually, why isn't it turning on? In here, if I can get it to turn on, geez, I don't know why it's doing that. Interesting. I actually had that set, so at 3 a.m. on certain days, it would actually do an actual restart. I'm going to look into that here in a second, why that's not showing up now. So you can actually have more family members access your account and actually control your account rather than just you. So that is the app in a nutshell. That way I can go over that and show you that information. Kind of interesting, I actually just went into my stuff and hit clear cache button. This is all I did. And then I went back to settings and back to maintenance schedule, and she came back to life. And so you can, right now I have 3 a.m. or whatever. I had it, I thought, for certain days of the week. So you can change, let's say just Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That's when I wanted to actually do it. At one point I did have it all 7. I guess maybe I didn't save it when I went to go back to it. I've changed this actually probably 4 or 5 times just to kind of see if it made any differences. But you can also delay reboot when exchanging data between a device that's greater than 3 kilobytes per second. So you can say, if something's actually heavily using the internet, don't restart. Even at 3 a.m., don't do it. But you can change that and right there within the maintenance schedule. So is this the best mesh system out in the market? No, it is not. For the price, possibly. To be honest about it, I've been using this, like I said, for about a month now, and I can't say too many bad things about it. It has been fairly reliable. I have had a couple times, actually, to be honest, earlier today, my internet just stopped. I came down, it was not my modem. I restarted the primary mesh system and it came back up. Now that was, I think, the only time I've had to do that. Out of the whole month, that was probably one time. So I would put it not as reliable as maybe the Amplify or the Eero, but definitely more reliable in my book and in my tests than a lot of the Netgear stuff, and probably similar to the Linksys, maybe a little bit better. So, but to be honest, like I said, I got to put it at the price category. At the price category that you can purchase this right now for a 3-piece wireless mesh AC system, it's pretty good. It really is. I'm not going to say it blew my mind for capability, for speed. It's okay. It's not the fastest system on the market. Definitely is not as fast as the last several routers that I've used or tested. But if I put it at the niche of where you are, how much money you really want to spend on a system, I would not pass this up. If I'm comparing this to like a single point Netgear Nighthawk, no, I'd probably take this unless you're gaming with it or something that's you need a lot of heavy, intense network traffic. This is fantastic otherwise. And like I said, I haven't had any issues on the wired backend side. So if you have the capability of doing a lot of wired and you're looking for a way to integrate a mesh system, so a really good blanket of internet in your house for the money, this is not something that I would shy away from looking at. But is it the best router on the market? It is not. So, that said, that's the MeshForce M3S, right? Whole home system. Yeah. If you have any questions, comment below. Head over to techgooch.com. You can send me a direct question if you're really looking at this and if you really want to dig into my brain. Head over to techgooch.com. You can easily reach me directly there. But yeah, other than that, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing if you have time. Click the like, click the bell, and we'll catch you back here for a future video review. Head over to GeekSmart if you want to watch more of my setup stuff, which I do quite a bit on there as well. So, thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.